Namaskar students, I am a geography teacher. So today we are going to discuss the major soil types in India. A number of video I already uploaded regarding the weathering and soil formation. If you have not seen these videos, you can easily visit my YouTube channel and watch this video. So in this video, we are going to discuss the types of the soil in India which are found in India. Okay, so let's get started. If you want to discuss, in previous video we already given the what is the definition of the soil. In this video we are going to discuss the types of the soil. According to basis, you can see the ICAR or the Indian Council of the Agriculture Departments, or you can say research. There we can divide our soil into mainly in the six types. First one is the black soil, then the red soil, then laterite soil, alluvial soil, and forest soil and arid soil. In my background, you can see that soil and their location in different color I have seen in India or in an Indian outline map. And I also, by this, you can see the pie chart or 3D pie chart, I wanted to also knowing you that what are the percentage of this kind of soil. If you take example, that is the alluvial soil, 22.16%, black soil 29.6%, red soil that is the 28%, forest and mountain soil 7.94%. So all this soil, whatever we have, or desert soil 6.13%. So all these soil are found in India. And by this diagram, if you study, so you can easily get a picture of the percentage of the soil found in India. In the next slide, we are going to discuss about the first soil that is known as the alluvial soils. Alluvial soils are formed mainly due to the silt deposited by the Indo-Gangetic and Brahmaputra river. And the coastal regions, some alluvial deposit also found due to the action of the waves. And some of the rivers, southern river, that is the Narmada, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, okay, they also form one alluvial deposit over. The rocks or Himalaya form a parent material, and thus the parent material in these the soils of transported origin. So this is called the ex situ soil on the basis of that is the ex situ soil and in situ soil. Soil wherever it is weathered and deposited in that same place, that is called the in situ soil, and when it is transported to the another place and deposited, that is called the ex situ soil. There are largest soil group covering about the 15 lakhs square kilometer, that is the 40% of the total area of country. So this soil have to memorize. The support of the more than 40% of the Indian population by providing the most of the production in the agricultural land. Characteristic of the alluvial soil, what are the characteristics? They are immature and have weak profile due to the recent origin. So they are you can say the one of the most recent soil. Okay, most of the soil is sandy and the clayey soils are not uncommon. Peaty and the gravelly soils are also conquer. Beds are present in that soil somehow, and the river traces, so that can be found in the soil. Soil is a porous because the loamy, and you can say the porous mean there is a gap between the soil particles, because these soil particles somehow that is the if their size is larger, so that time there will be gap. Okay, so these are the constantly replenished by the recurrent floods. So these are again and again change this area. On the basis of this, we can divide the soil on the basis of this. You can say the Bhavar and Khadar. Bhavar, you can say that is the old alluvial soil. Khadar means the new alluvial soil. Okay, so this type of soil every year that is replenished by the you can see the floods. So this thing we have to study. Then you can say the chemical properties of this alluvial soil. Okay, chemical properties. The proportion of the nitrogen is generally very, very low. Proportion of the potash, phosphoric and acid and the alkalies are the adequate in the soil. The proportion of the iron oxide and lime is very from in the wide area. So this can be one area is larger, one area may be found in the huge amount, another area not. Distribution of the, perhaps you can see in my background, I have given a diagram by which we can easily, an Indian outline made, if we can easily recognize the different type of the soil and their locations. They occur along with the Indo, Gangetic and Brahmaputra plains, except in few places where the top layer is covered by the desert sands. So first thing is that. Second, where they can occur in the deltas area, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and the Kaveri, where they are called the deltaic alluvium or the coastline or the coastal alluvial soil. Some alluvial soils are found in the Narmada, Tapi valleys and the northern parts of the Gujarat. Okay, so crops in alluvial soils. What are the crops you can see the agriculture or cultivated on the alluvial soil? Mostly you can see these are the flat and the regular soils, and at the base suited for the agriculture, because Indian 58.5% depend on this soil. People who are living in the Punjab, Haryana, okay, Gujarat, then UP, okay, West Bengal, Assam. So these are the people who depend on this soil. So what are the production you can get? The uses for this production as a canal or the well or as a irrigation. They yield the rice, you can say the wheat, then sugarcane, tobacco, cotton, jute, maize, oilseeds, vegetables and fruits. All these kind of, you can say the cultivated on the alluvial soil. Okay, then the next soil if you want to discuss, that is known as the black soil. Okay, black soil if you want to discuss, so black soil, the parent material for the most of the black soil are the volcanic rocks, and they were formed in the Deccan Plateau. Okay, in class 11 or the even previous video already discussed that when was the earth, you can say that our India is departed from the Madagascar, so that time there is a volcanic eruption, or this volcanic, you can see the lava has spirited the southern India or Deccan Plateau, and that due to the weathering that became the black soil or the regular soil or the cotton soil. In Tamil Nadu, gneiss and the schist form the parent material, and the former are sufficiently deep, while the larger are generally shallow. So this thing we have to understand. Third thing, there are the regions of the high temperature and the low rainfall area, and it is therefore the soil group typical to the dry, and it is, you can say, the hot regions. So this soil is also known as the self-ploughing. Why? Actually this soil, whenever this soil get the water, that can wet it, and you can say the clay form can be found there. But when you can say that there is a dry season, that become a crack or the large crack between the soil. So this crack developed, or development of the cracks permit to enter, you can say the a huge amount of the air into the soil. So that's why it is called the self-ploughing soil as well. Okay, what are the characteristics if we want to discuss the characteristic? A typical black soil is highly, you can say that the argillaceous or the geology rocks of the sediments. Okay, and consisting of a consistency clay also, containing the clay also, and with the large clay factor, that is a 62%, you can see that only the clay is there. Okay, in general, black soil of perhaps you can uplands of the low fertility, while those are the very, you can see the valley and are very, very fertile in that regard. Okay, we have to understand this thing. Third thing, if the black soil is highly retentive in moisture, so it can contain a huge amount of moisture, retain the moisture is a huge amount. It swells greatly on the accumulating the moisture, and a strenuous effort is required to work on such a way, you can say the soil in a rainy season get very, very sticky. So these are the one features, that the sticky features is there because the clay portion is very high. In summer, the moisture evaporates, and sometimes you can say the shrinks and streams with the broad and the deep cracks you can find over there. We already mentioned the lower cracks, the lower level, perhaps the moisture you can see the return, and these the cracks permit the we can say the oxidation of the soil to sufficient depth, and perhaps you know soil of the extraordinary fertility. So you can say the cotton, this black soil is very suitable for the cotton. So we'll discuss later on. Next thing, the color of the black soil. The color of the black soil due to the presence of black, because due to the proportion of the titaniferous magnetite or the iron and the black constituencies the parent rock. So these are the factor, that is the titaniferous. So that's why it is color is black. The soil that in Tamil Nadu and parts of Andhra Pradesh, and the black color is derived from the crystalline cyst and the basic genesis. Okay, niches. So these are the and various tint of the black color, such as the black, deep black, medium black, shallow black, a mixture of the red and the black may be found in the different part of India as a soil. Okay, so these are the main thing. Second thing, if you want to discuss the chemical properties, okay, what are the chemical properties of this black soil? 10% contain, that is the alumina, 9 to 10% that is the iron oxide, 6 to 8% that is, you can say, that is the lime, and the magnesium carbonates. Potash is variables, means the less than 0.5%. Phosphate, then nitrogen and humus also found in are very low in that area. Distribution, perhaps you can see in my background, I have shown one of the diagram. By this diagram easily you can understand the you can see the distribution is spread about the 46 lakh square kilometers, 16.6% of the total area across the Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, okay, parts of Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, okay, you can say the Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. What are the crops are cultivated on this soil? Okay, so crops, these are the very best suited for the cotton crops, and it is the soil, it is regular and the black cotton soils also. The other major crops can be grown in the wheat, jowar, then linseeds, okay, Virginia tobacco, castor, okay, sunflower and the millets. Rice and sugar cane now this time also started in this features, okay, in this soil. So equally important wherever you just irrigation is supplied to the soil. Large varieties of the vegetables and the fruits are successfully grown on this black soil. And the soil has been used for the growing of the variety of the crops in the for centuries without adding the fertilizer and manure, and without the no evidences of the existence. So you can see that this soil is very fertile. You can give the long production, okay, long life production. So that's thing we have to understand. Okay, then the next topic, that is the red soil. Perhaps you can see the red soil along with the minor groups, so from the largest soil group, and the main parent rocks are crystalline and metamorphic rocks like acid granites, gneisses and the quartzites. So somehow you can see characteristic. What are the characteristics? The texture of this soil, perhaps equals to the sand to clay, and majority being loams. On the uplands, the red soils are poor gravel and the porous, but in the lower areas they are rich, deep, dark and the fertile. So this thing, the two characteristic you have to memorize, or you have to try to understand. Then the chemical composition of the red soil, they are the acidic, and you can say the word due to the nature of the parent rocks, alkali contain in fair, and they are poor in lime, magnesia and phosphate, nitrogen and humus. They are fertile, rich in potash and potassium. Next, come to the color of the red soil. What is the red color? Is due to presence of iron oxide. When the limestone, granite, gneisses and you can say the quartzites are eroded to the clay enclosed within the soil remain intact within the soil, that is the non-soluble material which mixed with the red soil and give the color of the red in the red soil. Then another thing you have to discuss, the oxidizing condition. Rust and iron oxide develops in the clay when the soil is present about the water table, giving the soil characteristic red color. Okay, then another thing, the soil is more due to the wide diffusion rather than the high percentage of the iron oxide. So that's why due to the iron oxide, this soil become the red. Okay, so distribution, these are the soil mostly occur in the regions of the low rainfall, and they occupy the 3.5 lakh square kilometer, that is the 10.6% of the country. Okay, so total country of area, and the soils are spread almost the whole Tamil Nadu. Okay, other regions, Karnataka, Southeast Maharashtra, then Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Chotanagpur, Plateau, then parts of the Bihar, South Bihar, then West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Aravalli, and the eastern half of the Rajasthan, Mewar, and the Marwar Plateau, and the parts of the northeastern states. Okay, crops. What are the crops? Actually, these are the very loomy and the hence cannot be retain the water. So, like the black soil or the alluvial soil. So, red soil are with the proper utilization of fertilizer you have to use, irrigation techniques you have to develop, and give some cotton, wheat, rice, pulses, and millets, tobacco. All these things can be grown on that, and potatoes also can be grown. Okay, so this is the all about the first three soils. In later part we will discuss the another types of the three types of the soil. So this is the part 1 regarding the soil in India. Thank you for watching this video.